The receipt said $18,000. The stone on her finger was worth maybe $400. She didn't know that yet. She was crying happy tears in a parking lot in Phoenix, holding her hand up to the sun. The ring her husband bought her was already losing money faster than a new car driving off the lot. I'm going to tell you how she found out. And by the end, you're going to know the one question that would have saved her $17,000 at the counter. You're not stupid for not knowing this. The whole jewelry business is built on you not knowing this. So let's walk through it together. The way I wish someone had walked me through it 20 years ago when I was on the other side of that glass case, smiling, ringing up sales I'm not proud of. Her ring was a lab-grown diamond, beautiful stone, 3 carats, near colorless, eye clean. The sales associate called it the future of luxury. What he didn't mention is that lab-grown diamond wholesale prices have collapsed by more than 90% since 2016. The same stone that cost a jeweler $8,000 in 2016 cost them around $400 to $600 today. The retail price on the tag? It barely moved. That gap, that quiet widening canyon between what they pay and what you pay, that's the first gem ripping you off. And it's the one almost nobody is warning you about, because every chain store in America is sitting on lab-grown inventory they need to move. But she didn't know any of that in the parking lot. She found out 6 months later when she tried to insure it, and a second appraiser quoted her replacement value at $1,100, $1,100, on an $18,000 receipt. So she called me. And that's where this story really starts, because once you pull on that thread, the whole sweater unravels. The second stone I told her to watch for was tanzanite. Tiffany's marketing machine made tanzanite famous in the late 60s, and the pitch has never changed. It's 1,000 times rarer than diamond, found in only one place on Earth, the foothills near Mount Kilimanjaro. All true. Here's what they don't tell you. Tanzanite is brittle. It has perfect cleavage in one direction and a hardness of around 6.5 on the Mohs scale. That means a single solid knock against a countertop can split the stone. It's a display gem, not a daily wear gem, and they sell it set in engagement rings every single day. The markup at mall chains routinely runs 3 to 5 times wholesale. Resale, even on a stone with a certificate, is often 10 to 15 cents on the dollar. She had a tanzanite pendant too. Of course she did. Then we got to mystic topaz. You've seen it. Rainbow shimmer. Looks like a soap bubble caught in glass. Here's the part they leave off the tag. It's plain white topaz with a thin metallic coating bonded to the bottom. The coating is microns thick. Polish it wrong, hit it with the wrong cleaner, even certain ultrasonic cleanings, and the color literally wipes off. The stone underneath is worth a few dollars per carat. The mystic version sells for 10 times that. She didn't own mystic topaz, small mercy, but she did own what the salesman called a blue diamond. Now, real natural blue diamonds are some of the rarest gemstones on Earth, and they sell at auction for hundreds of thousands per carat. What she had was a white diamond that had been irradiated and heat-treated to turn blue. Treated blue diamonds are perfectly legal to sell, but they have to be disclosed. The problem is the disclosure is usually buried in a line of code on the certificate that looks like color origin, treated, or just irradiated. Most buyers never read it. The price difference between natural and treated can be a factor of 1,000, not a typo, 1,000 times. By now she was sitting at her kitchen table with every receipt spread out. She was getting quiet in that specific way people get when they're doing math they don't want to do. The fifth gem I warned her about was opal. Not all opal, just the doublets and triplets. A real solid Australian black opal can be a genuine investment, but what most stores sell as opal is a paper-thin slice of opal glued to a black backing, sometimes with a clear quartz cap on top. That's a triplet. Get it wet for too long, and the glue layer fogs. It's a $5 stone sold as a $500 stone. The fix is simple. You look at the side of the stone, not the top. If you see a straight line where two materials meet, it's a doublet. If you see two lines, it's a triplet. A solid opal has no line. Then there's the one that made her actually angry, morganite. The pink beryl that exploded on social media around 2015 as the ethical, affordable alternative to a pink diamond. Here's what nobody on Instagram told her. Morganite wholesale, for clean, well-cut stones, runs about $30 to $80 a carat. Retail in a designer setting, $2,000, $3,000. The stone is fine, the markup is theft. And the color is heat-treated in almost every case to push it from a muddy peach to that famous pink. The treatment is stable, the disclosure is rare. She had a morganite halo ring she'd bought herself as a promotion gift. $2,200. The stone in it, wholesale, was worth maybe $70. 7, 8, and 9 came fast, because by this point I could tell she just wanted the list. Number 7 was chocolate diamond. That's a registered trademark for brown diamonds, which used to be considered industrial grade and were sold by the bucket for cutting tools. A brilliant marketing campaign turned them into a luxury line. Brown diamonds are still the cheapest natural diamond color on the wholesale market. The retail markup on the branded versions is some of the highest in the entire industry. Number 8 was Australian jade. Almost never jade. Usually it's a green form of quartz called chrysoprase, or sometimes serpentine, or sometimes just dyed quartzite. Real jadeite, the gem-grade Burmese stuff, can run thousands per carat. The lookalikes run pennies. Number 9 was the one that hit her hardest, because she'd given it to her daughter. Cultured freshwater pearls sold as South Sea, or Tahitian. Real South Sea pearls are grown in a specific oyster, take years to form, and start around several $100s per pearl for a small one. The freshwater dyed versions can look almost identical to an untrained eye and cost about $2 wholesale. The tell is weight, surface texture under magnification, and overtone. A real Tahitian pearl has a peacock green or aubergine overtone that shifts as you turn it. A dyed freshwater is flat. So that was the 9. Lab-grown diamond at chain store prices, tanzanite in daily wear settings, mystic topaz, treated blue diamond, opal doublets and triplets, morganite, chocolate diamond, fake jade, and dyed freshwater pearls dressed up as South Sea. Now, here's where I have to stop and talk directly to you if you're already wearing one of these. Don't take it off. I mean it. The piece on your hand right now didn't get less beautiful in the last 4 minutes. It just got honest. The mistake isn't owning it. The mistake is buying another one at the same markup, or selling the one you have to a buyer who knows you don't know what you have. If you own any of these 9, the play is to keep it, wear it, love it. Never insure it for more than a real second opinion appraisal says it's worth. Insurance fraud against yourself is still fraud, and you'll pay premiums for years on a number that isn't real. Okay, the 5 worth every penny. Because I'm not here to tell you jewelry is a scam, I'm here to tell you which jewelry actually holds its value. Sapphire, specifically untreated cashmere, Burmese, or Ceylon blue, sapphire with a lab report. Sapphire is a 9 on the Mohs scale, second only to diamond. A clean, unheated stone from a known origin has tripled in value at auction over the last 15 years. It's the gem the trade quietly buys for themselves. Ruby. Same story, even more extreme. Untreated Burmese ruby above 1 carat is among the rarest gem material on earth right now. Heated rubies are fine to wear and far cheaper, but if you want a stone that appreciates, you want the lab report that says no heat or no indications of heating. Natural pearl, not cultured. Almost nobody under 50 has ever held one. They were nearly fished to extinction a century ago. A single natural saltwater pearl with a certificate from a real gem lab can outsell a diamond of the same size. Emerald, but only with the right paperwork. Colombian emeralds with minor oil treatment, the standard accepted in the trade, hold value well. The ones that don't are the heavily resin-filled stones, which is most of them. The lab report will tell you the clarity enhancement level. Insignificant or minor, you're fine. Significant, you're holding a stone that will fall apart in price the moment anyone tests it. And the 5th, the one I tell every single person who asks me where to put real money. A natural, untreated diamond, 1 carat or larger, with a GIA report, bought from an estate or secondary market rather than a chain store. You skip the entire retail markup, which on a new diamond runs from 100% to 300%. You buy at something close to actual market, and you own a stone that has held buying power, roughly, for a century. That's the 5. Now the question from the parking lot. The one she asked me on the phone, crying, holding her receipt. How did the salesman get her for $18,000 on a stone worth $1,100? How does any of this happen to smart people? Here's the answer. And this is the thing I wanted you to have from the very first sentence. Every overpriced gem in that store has one thing in common. The price is anchored to the setting, the brand, the certificate, or the story. Never to the stone itself by weight and origin. The salesman talks about the halo, the designer, the cut name, the collection. He'll show you a tag with a number on it. He will almost never, ever, voluntarily tell you the wholesale price per carat of the center stone by itself, naked, with no metal around it. So here is the one question. Memorize it. Say it out loud at the counter. Watch what happens to the room. What is the per carat wholesale price of this center stone, by origin and treatment status, separated from the setting? That's it. That's the whole thing. A salesperson selling you a fair-priced real stone can answer it, or get you the answer, in under 2 minutes. A salesperson selling you a marked-up lab-grown, a treated stone, a doublet, or a branded chocolate, anything will stall. Change the subject, talk about the warranty, or quietly walk you to a different case. That stall is your answer. She didn't know to ask. Now you do. Before you ever hand over a card, run this quick check. Ask the per carat wholesale question. Ask for the full lab report, not the in-house appraisal, the lab report from GIA or AGS or SSEF or Gubelin. Read the treatment line out loud at the counter. If anything is treated, irradiated, diffused, filled, coated, or assembled, cut the price you're willing to pay by at least 500 t-shirt. And if the piece costs more than $3,000, get a second independent appraisal before the return window closes. Always. She got most of her money back. Not all. The store fought her, but the receipt and the second appraisal made the chargeback stick on the biggest piece. She kept the morganite ring. She wears it. She just doesn't insure it for $2,200 anymore. If this saved you even one bad purchase, stay close. There are a lot of us now, quietly refusing to be overcharged on the things we buy out of love. We compare notes. We protect each other. That's the whole point of this. Tell me in the comments which of those 9 stones you already own, and whether you're going to keep wearing it or sell it. I read them. I answer the ones I can. And if someone in your life is about to walk into a jewelry store this month, a fiancé, a parent buying a graduation gift, a friend treating themselves, send them this before they go. One question at the counter is the difference between a memory and a regret. She's still married. The ring still sparkles in the Phoenix sun. But now, when she holds her hand up to the light, she knows exactly what she's looking at. And that's worth more than the stone ever was. That knowledge, that quiet confidence at the counter, is the real upgrade. It doesn't cost anything. It just requires you to slow down for 90 seconds and ask the questions most buyers are too embarrassed to ask. Let me leave you with a few more specifics, because vague advice gets people robbed. When you walk into any jewelry store in 2024 or 2025, ask for the stone's country of origin in writing, not verbally. In writing, on the receipt, Burmese ruby, Kashmir sapphire, Colombian emerald, these origins carry real premiums, but only if documented by a lab like SSEF, Gubelin, or AGL. A sales associate saying, "I think it's from Burma," means nothing in a courtroom or a resale negotiation. I watched a collector in Scottsdale lose $18,000 in 2022 because his ruby was sold as Burmese based on a verbal claim. The lab report, ordered after the fact, identified it as Mozambican, worth roughly $4,000 at wholesale. Ask about the cut grade too. GIA only grades cut on round, brilliant diamonds, which surprises people. Fancy shapes, ovals, pears, cushions, princess cuts have no official cut grade. That's why you see wildly different prices on stones with identical carat, color, and clarity. A poorly cut 2-carat oval can look smaller and duller than a well-cut 1.5 carat. Always view the stone face up, under mixed lighting, not just the jeweler's spotlight, which is calibrated to make everything sparkle like a disco ball. And please, please, never buy a colored gemstone under those overhead halogens without taking it to a window. Natural daylight is the only honest light. Alexandrite, sapphire, even tanzanite, they all shift under different sources. If the store refuses to let you step outside with the stone, supervised, that tells you everything you need to know about what they're hiding. Subscribe if you want the next video, where I break down the 3 engagement ring scams that exploded on TikTok last year, and the 1 vintage cut that's quietly tripled in value since 2019.